Shalom family, welcome to another Steward's Path video. Today I am going to be talking about the journey that meditation will begin to take you on. This is a journey that we're unfamiliar with because our people have been out of order for so long. And by out of order, I mean we've been using our flesh as means to do life as opposed to the inner man, the spirit, or inner woman. And so this journey that meditation takes one on is foreign to us. We haven't experienced what it truly means to walk by the spirit and not by the flesh. We've been having the flesh drag along our spirit. So now that we are in tune with the inner woman, the inner man, and we've begun this meditation journey, this journey of switching the two and having our spirit drag our flesh along, there's a journey that's going to unfold. I'm just here to kind of talk you through it a little bit. So that's what today's video is going to be on. So let's jump right in. I've got my notes. I got two different notebooks because, yeah, I'm a notebook girl. Thank you, husband, for that. But, okay, so let's get into it. So obviously we know that the Most High says that the kingdom is within us and that He dwells with us in our physical bodies. His spirit dwells with us. You've only been conditioned to see the flesh or the physical realm as the primary realm. But newsflash, the spirit realm controls everything in the physical realm, right? So we have to learn how to train up our minds and this stillness that we're not used to in such a busy physical flesh materialistic realm, right? So you meditated, you've begun meditating, now what? What begins to happen naturally, internally and externally, when you begin to meditate and make a practice out of meditation? Like, this is a continual thing. You didn't just do it one time and it didn't work. You ain't see nothing from it. You ain't just do it 2 times for 5 minutes a day and now you don't see anything spectacular happening, so you stop. No. This is for those who understand that meditation is a practice. It's a muscle that has to be trained up because we've been conditioned to ignore it. So now that we've begun to train this inner man, the muscles will begin to show outwardly in this physical realm. Just as we train the outer man and we work out our muscles and they begin to show, it's the same with the inner woman or the inner man. The more you train this muscle of stillness and this inner man or inner woman, the more you work it, the bigger it grows, right? What will begin to happen is your consciousness will begin to expand, okay? And because we are light beings, because we are frequency beings, light will begin to be shed on internal things that have been dark for a long time. This is where your healing journey begins. When you hear people say, oh, I'm on a healing journey, I'm on a healing journey, it's because they've now discovered parts of themselves internally that they're having to heal from, okay? Because light begins to shed on these areas in your life: childhood trauma, relationship trauma, doubts, fear, worry, all these things begin to come to the surface because now you can see them. You know what I'm saying? Now that you're still and you're quiet enough to listen to the inner being, you become aware of all these things that weren't on the forefront before. Your consciousness literally begins to expand to areas that you've been spiritually blinded to. These things begin to bubble to the surface and come to your attention, and that's for a reason. That is your inner being telling you, hey, we need some fixing here. Hey, this needs attention. Now that you see these areas that need healing and reconciliation, it requires this of you to stay on this journey, okay? They're tied to a breakthrough, okay? So you have been trained to be uncomfortable with sitting with yourself, with sitting with emotion that doesn't feel that great. Whether it be sadness, whether it be fear, whether it be worry, doubt, We've been conditioned not to sit with them. And that's no longer going to work now that you are healing, now that you are on this journey of dragging your flesh along. The spirit is going to begin to tell you things that usually you don't want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Now it's coming to the surface that, oh, I have to talk about this thing in order to heal from it, because we cannot heal what's been hidden, right? So now that the spirit man is beginning to bring these things up for you, it's telling you, hey, let's do some work in the physical, okay? So this looks like reconciliation. This looks like telling a family member how they hurt you. This looks like telling, I don't know, your spouse or your best friend, I did this thing and I shouldn't have. You did this thing to me and it hurt me. It's going to be different for different people, but this is where that childhood trauma, that hurt, that pain from the past, it's going to begin to come up, and you have to deal with it, okay, in order to proceed. Because if not, you'll notice the spirit's just going to keep bringing the same thing over and over again. It's going to say, well, we can't go to the next level until we beat this one right here, okay? Level 2 requires us to unlock level 1. So you have to adhere to it, okay? Adhere to what the spirit is telling you. This is going to force you to deal with emotions you've kept yourself from feeling. This is important. It doesn't feel good to sit in sadness. It doesn't feel good to sit in worry, doubt, fear, and all the things. But the issue is the answer to the problem, the solution is inside. This is why we have everybody trying to get more material things, get more money, chasing a job, chasing a career, because you don't realize the answer's inside. The inner woman, the inner man has the answer, and you're trying to get it from outside sources. That's not the move. You have to sit with yourself. You have to go inside and say, why does this feeling make me uncomfortable? Where does this emotion come from? What is this stemming from? What is it rooted in? Let's get to the bottom of it. And now what begins to happen, because we are energy beings, because we're light beings with frequency, right? Like the Father in heaven, it's going to start to move that energy out of our bodies.